Hello, everyone. My name is Xiaofeng Wan. I'm an Associate Dean of Admission and the Coordinator of International Recruitment at the Office of Admission here at Amherst College. Welcome to the panel. Thank you for spending the time to join us. I hope, first of all, everyone is doing well, no matter where you are. And this panel is going to focus on math and sciences. And we have 3 students here with us and our professor. We'll do our best today to answer as many of your questions as possible so you can learn more about Amherst during your college final decision-making process. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, you can utilize the chat function on the bottom of the screen if you move your mouse down. And once you click that, before you send the question out, make sure you select my name, which is Xiaofeng Wan, as the recipient of your message. And we will then put that through our panelists altogether. Okay, do not send your messages to our panelists individually. So without further ado, I'll have our professor and students introduce themselves.
Thank you, Xiaofeng. My name is Jagu Jagannathan. I'm a professor of physics, and I'm also chairing the Department of Physics and Astronomy currently. And I've been at Amherst a long time. It was founded in 1821. I remember that occasion quite well. No, not quite that long, but long. Been here for quite a long time. And it's a wonderful place. And congratulations to all of you for being admitted to Amherst. I'm sure you're considering many good choices. And I hope you will have your questions answered, and many of you will choose Amherst. That's what we hope. My area of specialization is theoretical particle physics and elementary particles. But at the undergraduate level, we teach the full gamut of courses in the physics department. So I've taught essentially the entire undergraduate curriculum, including courses for students who are not science majors, but more often, students who are physics majors or pre-medical students or other science majors. I'll stop there. Is it Diego? Are you next? Who's next? Armand is next, I guess.
Hey, I'm Armand. I'm a junior from North Carolina. I'm majoring in biology and economics. I also did take a lot of pre-med courses, so if you have questions about those, I should be able to help out. And then extracurriculars, I'm on the rugby team, and I'm involved in some finance clubs and some service clubs in town.
Hi everyone, my name is Cece. I am a sophomore from Westport, Connecticut. I'm a chemistry major and potentially music double major here at the college. I'm also pre-med, so any questions about that I would be happy to answer. On campus, I am, besides being a tour guide, I am also involved with the Amherst College Emergency Medical Services. I'm the director of personnel on the squad. I also participate in biochemistry research on campus. I'm involved with religious and spiritual life. I'm the treasurer of our Asian Students Association. And, oh yeah, I play flute in the orchestra. So that's about me.
Hi everyone, my name is Diego. I'm a sophomore at Amherst, originally from Boston, Massachusetts. I'm double majoring in computer science and history. Outside of academics, I'm also a tour guide. I play rugby with Armand, and I'm involved with Amherst Democrats.
That's great. Thank you for our introductions. So we have quite a number of students who have questions about the computer science program here at Amherst. If someone can maybe give us an introduction of the computer science program here at Amherst, and what's the program like? Does it rely heavily on math?
So I can take that since I'm the computer science major here. It's a very extensive curriculum, but not at all. It doesn't require at all that you have any computer science background. I actually didn't have any experience with computer science before coming to Amherst. I didn't take my first course until spring of my first year, and now a year later I'm majoring in it. So it's very accessible to anyone who's interested in computer science, even if you're not pursuing a major. There are no specific math requirements to get the computer science degree, but there is a lot more that you can get out of the current computer science program if you do have some math. Obviously, basic arithmetic is pretty important, but up through more advanced, like I'm in linear algebra right now, which is a math course that does have a lot of applications to computer science. So if you're really not a math person, I'm honestly not that much of a math person. You don't have to take math or be good at math to do well in the computer science program at Amherst. But if you are more mathematically inclined and you're interested in the intersection between math and computer science, that's also a very, that's a field that you can very well explore at Amherst.
That's great. And Armand, would you mind share a little bit of information on the biology program? And then Cece, if you could share something about the chemistry program, that'd be perfect as well.
Yeah, yes, we have a great biology department. All the professors do amazing research, teach great classes. Courses run the full gamut from, you want to do microbiome, cell bio, immunology, all the way to broad ecology, like disease ecology, and evolution classes. I would say the professors in bio are very approachable. Pretty much anyone that wants to do research can do research. It's just a matter of finding the right lab you want to work in. Moreover, in order to get the bio major, you have a lot of freedom in kinds of what courses you can take. So if you are more micro cell inclined, you can pursue that. And if you're more evolution ecology inclined, you can also pursue that.
About the chemistry department, I love the chemistry department so much. I have so many great mentors that have really guided me in my process of navigating the major here at Amherst. I would say that the chem major is a pretty much one track kind of deal. There is a specific set of 7 courses that all majors have to take. That encompasses organic chemistry, or inorganic chemistry, biochemistry, physical chemistry, and quantum mechanics or quantum chemistry. So those are the more upper level classes that you'll take as a chemistry major. All of my experiences so far with the department have been so amazing. I'm doing research in a biochem lab right now. And I know a lot of freshmen actually this fall and this spring got involved with a majority of chem labs and bio labs. And I would say the department is really open to having any student, regardless of research experience, join the labs. The courses, the introductory chemistry courses, I will say, are divided into 2 like tiers. One is more math-based, one is more theoretical. So depending on what you feel comfortable with, whether it's more theoretical things or whether it's more calculation, you'll be placed into that kind of environment.
Thank you. And Professor Jagu, would you mind sharing something about the physics department and in particular the research that you're able to do with students? There's also questions about pursuing the engineering program at Amherst if they're physics students. So if you could just expand on that.
Happy to do it. Thank you. Yes, the physics department is also very committed to teaching undergraduates. We teach, as I said, the full gamut of courses. We take turns over several years so that we are familiar with students who are who come to take physics classes for a variety of reasons. As I said, obviously the majors, but also the pre-medical students for whom 2 physics courses are required. CC is currently in a class I'm teaching, and general education courses as well. The department is very active in research, and as is the case with the other STEM departments and other departments at the college more broadly, we like to encourage students, incoming students, to think about not only their courses, but also getting involved in scholarly work with faculty members, even as early as maybe the 2nd semester of your first year. It doesn't have to be anything big, but get involved in a lab. There are opportunities in the summer. The college has lots of internal funding, and in the physics department, there's external funding too, to support students who want to stay for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, etc. during the summer, working in some lab, or in my case, working on some theoretical project with me. And that continues through the summers between, after your sophomore year and after your junior year as well. There is some opportunity to do research during the academic year, although you will find, I think the students can correct me if I'm wrong, your coursework pretty much takes up a lot of your time. You don't have a huge amount of time during the semesters to involve yourself in research. Nevertheless, it's possible to keep in touch. And the junior year summer, or the summer after the junior year, is often the time when students thinking about senior theses, which is optional in many of the STEM departments, but we strongly encourage students to consider that because this capstone experience is an important way in which it's different from taking classes and courses and so on. You do your own research, you get ownership of a project, and that creates a great deal of enthusiasm for the discipline you would be pursuing. So we, during the summer after the junior year, very often STEM students start on their senior theses, even though there's, formally there's no need to start on it till the first semester of their senior year. Typically the summer is a very productive time for them to do that. On switching, if there are further follow-up questions on research at the undergraduate level, I'll be happy to return to those. But switching to the engineering program, Will Loynez, who is a colleague of mine in the physics department, Professor Loynez, he is the pre-medical advisor, but I have also been involved with pre-medical, he's a pre-medical advisor, he's also the engineering advisor. That's really where I'm going now. And I've also been involved with advising students who are interested in engineering, but also a very strong liberal arts education. That's why you would come to Amherst. The emphasis of liberal arts combined with, say, physics or chemistry or computer science and engineering is a perfectly good path. Many students have taken those. In particular, we have a formal arrangement with Dartmouth, which is not very far from here, just north of here, about 60, 70 miles. It's called a 3-2 program, under which students stay here for the first 2 years, do certain required courses in physics and math, and maybe comp sci, and depending on the type of engineering, maybe chemistry. And then for the junior year, instead of junior year abroad, you go junior year away. That's the term that's being used now, because a lot of the junior year away from campus, it's not necessarily abroad. It is programs like this or other programs around this country. So you go to Dartmouth for a year. They are on a quarter system. The curriculum is designed so that you get a strong introduction to engineering, but also you earn enough liberal arts credits that will transfer to Amherst for 1 year worth of studies. And then you come back for your senior year. You graduate with your class, obtain a BA degree from Amherst College, and then you go back to Dartmouth for another year and finish your engineering undergraduate degree. That's the dual degree program. That's the formal setup we have. More informally, students either finish Amherst degree and then go into a master's program in engineering. We have advised students to do that. There's some planning and preparation students will have to do throughout their 4 years at Amherst if they were going in that direction, in terms of taking a few courses that they must have under their belt. But that's not very onerous, that's not very difficult to do. And then you'd be all set to do the engineering program. Was there another question that you
No, this is very super helpful. And then a student also asked, do they need to declare the engineering because of the combination with Dartmouth as they begin their time here at Amherst, or can they also wait till a certain time?
Good question. You don't have to formally declare an engineering interest when you come in, but it is a good idea to be thinking about it. And what is involved is you need to, if you don't have, you have to have a certain number of calculus courses through multivariable calculus, 3 semesters of that. You probably should have 2 semesters of physics, and they recommend computer science, at least 1 or 2 courses in computer science. Maybe statistics would be useful, but these are the core. The math, the physics, and some computer science are the core requirements. And you need to have those courses done by the end of your second year. That means you should be starting to think about your curricular planning even before you declare anything. I think the application happens in the fall semester of your sophomore year. So by then, you're not still committed, but you need to be taking certain actions. And then in the second semester of your sophomore year, you would anyway have to declare a major at Amherst by that time. That's the normal thing. Second semester sophomore year is when students choose a major here. And then they also, people planning to go abroad, people planning to go to Dartmouth for engineering would also have to take steps to do that. So that's the timeline.
So while we're on the topic of engineering, there are also questions about whether or not students can utilize engineering courses through the 5-college consortium, and are they able to transfer the credit to Amherst College? And also overall, how many students in Amherst pursue the engineering degree with Dartmouth College?
Very good. As far as courses are concerned, yes, University of Massachusetts, Smith College, they have engineering programs, but at Amherst, we have the registrar formally because of the faculty's own legislation, the registrar decides which courses count as a liberal arts course, which don't. And typically what happens is there are certain engineering courses that are foundational that we can say quite easily would count for Amherst credit, and certain others which are highly, like, suppose you were taking a course at UMass, I'm just making this up, say turbine design of turbines. Very important stuff for certain kinds of engineering, but probably not counted as a liberal arts credit course. So it's a good idea to plan which courses you're going to take, which courses you would like to take, and with your advisor, faculty advisor, but also with Professor Loyness, who's the engineering advisor, or me, to talk about it and to figure out how to navigate your path. People can do that. People have done that, taken courses in the engineering department at UMass and received Amherst credit for it. But not every course that you could take in the engineering program would count for Amherst College credit. That's something should be pre-cleared if you are concerned about that sort of thing. As far as the number of students who go to Dartmouth is concerned, it's not a huge number. It's about maybe about 2 or 3 students a year on the average. Some years a little bit more. But it's a steady kind of commitment that students do go regularly. So we have some experience of what's involved.
Any other insights from the students, or no? For admitted students who are not familiar with the Five College Consortium, the Five College Consortium is a consortium where Amherst is a member of. There are 4 other institutions around Amherst, and we grouped together since the 60s, and we call ourselves the Five College Consortium. The other 4 schools are UMass Amherst, which is the flagship campus of the UMass system. They have 28,000 students, so they have it's a traditional research institution with undergraduate and graduate level studies. And then there's Hampshire College, a liberal arts college. They also have an open curriculum, and they have 1,400 students. And then there's Mount Holyoke College, which is the oldest women's college in the country. They have 2,400 students. And then Smith College, which is the largest women's college in the country with 2,600 students. So students at Amherst and on all the other campuses can freely take courses across all 5 schools. So as Professor Jagu alluded to, that because Amherst is a liberal arts college, so when you take a course on a different campus through the Five College Consortium, that course needs to be in the liberal arts realm. If it's pre-professional or if it's too technical, that may not be able to transfer back to Amherst. So that's just a little background information here. So since we're on the Five College Consortium, students also have questions about taking science courses across all 5 schools, particularly if you're able to utilize some of the graduate level courses if you're advanced at UMass, because they have graduate level courses there. So anyone who wants to jump in?
I'm happy to say a word about it, if I may. Yes, it is in math and physics, and especially, there are students who place out of a lot of the beginning courses coming in. As you know, maybe you don't know, entering students, Amherst College doesn't give course credit for advanced placement, but we don't make you repeat stuff that you've done already. You get placement, you can move on ahead to the higher level courses if you place out of 1 or 2 math courses, 1 or 2 physics courses, and so on. When you do that, and then you find that you're ready to take courses beyond what we normally have in the curriculum, there are 2 ways of doing it. One of them is special topics. Faculty here are very approachable. You can talk to one of us and say, hey, we don't have general relativity. I'm just talking about my field. It may or may not make sense to a lot of people, but let me go with that. Similar things apply to other fields too. I really want to take general relativity, but it is not a course on the books. I want to take quantum field theory. It is not in the books. If you're ready for it, we'll do it one-on-one. That's very common. We often do that. Another route which is also very good, is what Shrifan just alluded to. Namely, UMass has a very powerful, strong graduate program in all the STEM areas that you'd be interested in. Physics, chemistry, biology, computer science, all of that is very strong. And a student in their junior year or senior year, it's not uncommon for students to take a graduate level course in these disciplines because they have done the prerequisites and they're ready for it. And that's another way in which the 5-college exchange can be used. In addition, certain programs like astronomy are inherently 5-college departments. Students are encouraged very strongly to take courses in all the other campuses. And culturally, no matter what your major is, what your studies are, the ethos of the 5-college system is that we would very much like you to get out of Amherst once in a while and take classes elsewhere.
Any more information from our students? No? Okay. So we have touched on this a little bit earlier, which is pre-med. Many of our admitted students are interested in knowing how Amherst is the health advisory, health professions advisory program, right? And how does that work in Amherst, and what kind of services that we provide or support that the college provides for students who are interested in pre-med. And in particular, do you have to major in chemistry or biology to be able to be in the pre-med track? So anyone who has thoughts can jump in.
I'll jump in on this one as your resident pre-med student. So you do not have to be to major in any like core science in order to be on the pre-med track here at Amherst. We don't have a pre-med major. It's more just a structure of classes that you should take to prepare you for medical school, taking the MCAT, things like that. I have a ton of friends that are anthropology majors, religion majors, history majors, philosophy majors that are all pre-med, and they're doing their major requirement classes as well as pre-med requirement classes, and they're having a great time. As for advising for pre-med students, we have a very large and very helpful network of both professors and just deans and career advisors located within the Loeb Career Center. That's our primary career center on campus. The head pre-med advisor, his name is Dean Aronson. I work with him very closely. We meet multiple times a year to talk about how my classes are going and prepping for summer plans or internships or anything like that. And he's a great person. And I've worked with a ton of other pre-med advisors within the Loeb Center as well on cover letters, resumes, interview practicing, things like that. And the professors within each department, especially STEM professors, I can't say much about non-STEM professors knowing much about pre-med, but the professors that I have for, or my advisor for chemistry, he knows a lot about the pre-med process, graduate school processes, and they really help you a lot with that if you bring questions. But yeah.
If I may add a word to that. Yes, Cici is absolutely right. Amherst has a long history of well-oiled pre-med track, if you will. Yes, Dean Aronson, Dick Aronson at the Career Center is extremely supportive of all students who want to do health professions and any entering students when they express, there's in fact going to the orientation on campus. There's a time set aside for giving information and answering questions from students who are interested in the health professions more broadly. And Dean Aronson, as well as Professor Loynez in the physics department that I mentioned, Loynez is the pre-medical advisor from the faculty side. They have a good systematic network of giving advice to entering students at all stages and through the 4 years for health professions. And what advice on what courses you should take and when it is best to take those courses and so on and so forth, as well as things like preparing your application to medical school or other health professions school when the time comes to what your statement, reviewing your statement, for instance, and what it should contain and so on. But also the faculty letters are solicited by the pre-med advisory committee. If you ask 3 professors to write for you, we write, say, for you, that goes to the pre-med committee, to Dean Aronson and to Professor Loynez, and they cull from it a very strong, positive letter of support. Amherst's track record in terms of placing aspiring health profession people in the health profession programs is very high. So that's a strong, well-supported program.
Yeah, thank you both for your insights. The strong support certainly comes from the nature of Amherst being small. If Amherst is a 20,000 or 30,000 student campus, that might not be as easy to have direct access with professors to have those conversations, so that's definitely something that you will find very different from some of the traditional big research universities. Professor or students, a student also asked about the timeline of applying to medical schools for Amherst students. Do they apply in their senior year, or do they wait for another year? So do they spend another year preparing for the test? So what's that like for our students?
I don't. Yeah. Cici, you want to go first on this?
So it really depends. It really depends on what you want to do. Like, if I'm understanding correctly, like graduate school exams, right? Like MCAT, LSAT, things like that. For me, I plan on taking a few gap years after I graduate. I'm also a sophomore, so I have no idea what my life is going to be. But as of now, I plan on not taking my MCAT while I'm in school, probably after I graduate. And after a few years of work and research experience, I do know a lot of friends that are seniors that took their MCAT in their senior year, took their MCAT in their junior year. So one of my friends is already into medical school, and others are preparing to take their exams now. It's really a personal process. But through all of that, I do know that the Loeb Center does provide really great support for that. I also know that professors also really great support with preparing for graduate schools. At least for my research professor, she's given me a lot of tips on biochemistry, and I haven't taken biochemistry yet, and things like that. So yeah, that's just my personal.
Exactly right. I don't have that much more to add. Indeed, a number of students apply right away in their senior year and get in. Other students want to take a gap year for all kinds of reasons. Among them, they say they're doing an honors thesis in their senior year. That is a major commitment and an exciting commitment. Many students enjoy that. And at the same time, to be doing all that needs to be done for applying for medical schools or health profession schools and going for interviews and so on and so forth, maybe too much to take on. It might take away from the kinds of commitment they want to make to their honors program. So what they tend to do is to put off for a year, sometimes 2, and up to about 3, even 5 years out, the Health Professions Committee with Dean Aronson and Will Loynez will be watching, following you and supporting you and so on. So that is, 5 years out is rare. More often 1, 2 years out doing something that is either health professions related, that often strengthens the application, or something completely different but coming back to health professions. That is also something that we have seen. So it's very common for students to take one year as a gap year before going to medical schools.
Thank you both. Professor Jago, it's very assuring to know that students can still come back to Amherst after they graduate from Amherst to seek help and support from the Health Professions Advisory Board members. Because this panel focuses on math and science, but as students here at a liberal arts college in Amherst, you're also exposed to a variety of different disciplines in the humanities and social sciences. Can particularly the students here, and Professor, feel free to chime in as well, on collaborations between or across departments in the STEM field and the humanities fields, and how that's been like for you, because some of you are thinking of double majoring or have declared 2 majors in 2 different disciplines. And how does that sort of manifest through your liberal arts experience here in Amherst?
Yeah, I can start off. So again, I'm a biology and economics double major. I originally just started off with biology, but I took intro econ on my sophomore fall. Basically fell in love with the study. And I think like the open curriculum is the main reason that so many Amherst kids are able to double major and pursue like wildly different intellectual interests. As far as collaboration between biology and econ, there's not really anything formal, but I will say I've had times where I've had to draw upon my biology experience in terms of like disease ecology for actually reading econ papers and like looking at data. So it definitely happens. But yeah, I would say overall, the fact that we don't have gen eds and the fact that we can explore any class we want is the main reason why so many kids are able to pursue like very different paths.
Yeah, I can jump in as well. Again, I'm a computer science and history major, so really not a lot of overlap there. But there are definitely opportunities to apply one to the other. I think personally, I see a lot of overlaps in terms of the types of thinking that you're doing, the sort of frameworks that you're using to analyze problems and think creatively about how to solve them, which is really what the liberal arts is all about. And also, even more concretely, professors in one department are always very open, very excited to hear about insights that you might have from another department. So for example, I'm in a history course right now. It's a 300 level advanced history course about strategy in warfare. And I'm writing a research paper on cybersecurity and cyber warfare and how that applies. So I'm using what I know from computer science in my history course. The professor, even though he is not particularly an expert in computer science, has been very encouraging of that and very excited to ask about how that's going because it is a new perspective that you might not always get in the discipline of history. So it's very doable, like Armand said, because of the open curriculum. You have a lot of flexibility in charting your own course and doing anything you might be interested in. And professors, even contained within a department, are also excited to hear about where the open curriculum takes you.
I'll jump in as well, just also because coincidentally we're all double majors-ish. I am about to declare the music major, not yet, but I realized after almost finishing my second year that I was halfway done. So that's just the product of being at Amherst and pursuing something you love, which happened in my case was music. I've been a musician all my life and it just kind of happened. While I don't necessarily have any, like, there's not a lot of big overlap between performance music and chemistry, I do know that a lot of the concepts are like what my peers have said, they can apply to both departments. The creativity and expression, as well as out-of-the-box thinking, I think is really important. And that's what the liberal arts education and the open curriculum are really are here for at Amherst. I'll also say that my friend, one of my closest friends, she's going to be a senior next year. She is a neuroscience and English double major. Her senior thesis is about, it's a creative writing thesis about the Asian American experience in regards to mental health and mental illness within immigrant families. So it's it's like very, very interdisciplinary, combining, medicine with English and sociology. It's super, super interesting. And there's a lot of people who do interweave their passions together like that.
Professor, do you have anything to add?
Just briefly, yes. Everything students said. Amherst is small, and you probably think first in terms of the number of students it has. That is a good thing in various ways. Amherst is also small in the sense that we have a small number of faculty overall. Unlike a big university where there will be thousands of professors, there are about 200 of us. And because professors last a while, often, we get to know one another pretty well. And there are all kinds of conversations, cross-disciplinary, that then result in courses of various sorts. I have taught classes in collaboration with philosophers. There have been courses where professors of literature and professors of physics get together to talk about light, and sometimes visual artists join in those kinds of endeavors. So cross-disciplinary coursework, as well as scholarly work, is very much part of the ethos of the liberal arts. And that's what we love about it. That is why we want to say to incoming students, look, liberal arts, the concept may not be that widely known, but it's a very exciting thing. It's intellectually enriching. It's enriching of your inner life. And that's a strong reason to consider places like Amherst.
Students are also interested in learning more about if they're able to design their own major, which in Amherst, we have the interdisciplinary major option for our students. There is a process where students have to go through to have that approved. I wonder if any one of you have some insights on that, or particular professor, I don't know if you have any students who are
Sure.
interested in that.
Yes, I have advised students over the years who have constructed interdisciplinary majors. The way it works is, it's a good idea. For instance, currently there is a student, this is within STEM, but there are also, I'll give an example outside of involving STEM and non-STEM. This student wants to construct a joint physics, computer science, interdisciplinary study focusing on quantum computing. We don't have one department that can be covered, but in fact, there's considerable expertise between the computer science department and the physics department, where the courses that are already on the books in these departments could serve very much, almost fully for fulfilling this, this interdisciplinary major. And then there may have to be a couple of special topics courses the student will have to construct in consultation with professors. And that would be the major that the student would graduate with. We've also had interdisciplinary majors. For instance, there was a student who was an astronomy and English major who graduated last year, who wanted to talk about science fiction and the narrative and dimension of aliens and so on and so forth, but using astronomical knowledge as well. And he worked with a professor in the English department. She specializes in digital humanities, and with an astronomy professor. And he constructed a thesis and a major involving those areas. So that's a little bit farther off than STEM. And there is interdisciplinary majors constructed around cultural anthropology and medical practice. There is another area that combines STEM and non-STEM areas in interesting ways. The mechanics of it, just briefly, is that if you're thinking about thinking outside of the departments, which is a very good thing for incoming students to know that they can, and start doing that already by the, you don't have to do anything major, but kind of start thinking about it by the second semester you are here. Look around, talk to people, professors are accessible, fellow students are accessible, talk, say what's on your mind, and see how that can be done. And then the professors can guide you. Your advisor can, if the advisor is themselves not competent in the area, they might point to somebody else you can talk to, and then you can go and talk to them. And so there's a path forward like that. So interdisciplinary, it's not common. I don't want to say there are lots of students doing interdisciplinary majors, because it's a lot of work on your part to construct the major. But if you're motivated, if you have a cogent idea, or if you have an idea that can be made cogent with the help of professors, then by all means, go for that.
Thank you. Let's talk about research, because research is such a critical and major part of our students' life here at Amherst. Because we're small, because there's no graduate students here on campus and no graduate programs, our students who are all undergraduate are able to enjoy some of the most high-level research opportunities independently or with our professors, and particularly with the new science building that we opened 2 years ago, which was a $250 million investment, the largest investment the college has ever made. Really boosted the ability for our students to do research. Professor and our students here, if anyone want to jump in first to talk about the research opportunities available here in Amherst, and the fundings available for Amherst research. And if you could talk about your personal experience doing that, that'd be perfect as well. Anyone can start there.
I can jump in.
Yep.
So I'm working, as I said before, in a biochemistry lab with Professor Pat O'Hara. And I actually joined her lab sophomore fall. I sent her a really out of the blue email in the middle of July. I was like, hi, I really am interested in your research. I've never written an email like this before. Like, I don't have any research experience, but I would love to get involved with your research. And she just responded like, yeah, of course, like we can have a meeting and like we can talk. And that's what happened. So first week of school, I met with her, and then ever since then, I've been in her lab. So professors are super open, regardless of what background you have in research, whether you have done a project before, whether you don't even know how to use a pipette. Like, professors are going to be there and guiding you every step of the way. And not only professors, they're fellow lab mates as well. This year, I was actually aiding the thesis of one of my really good friends who's a senior. So I was doing supplementary work for her senior thesis, and I learned so much from her. And I think my next research project is actually going to be based off of the results of her thesis. So it's very collaborative work that we do in the labs here. Talking about funding, so we do have a lot of funding opportunities for students. Professor Jagu mentioned this before, but we do have a summer research fellowship, the Summer Undergraduate Research Fellowship, or SURF, that freshmen and sophomores, or first years and second years get to become involved with, to work one-on-one or very closely with the professor, with like 3 or 4 other students, and you get a stipend for that. You can also apply for separate funding. That's what I did over interterm when I had my own project. I applied for funding to pay for the proteins that I was using in my assays, and for all the chemicals that I needed and the equipment that I needed. You just make an estimate and you send it to the school, and more often than not, you will get that money paid for you. And also the college will also pay for your time working in a lab as an assistant as well. That's usually minimum wage, which is $12.75. So pretty good deal. I really enjoy my time working in lab. Obviously, I'm still really inexperienced, but I always learn a lot when I'm in the lab, and the professors, as well as the other students that I work with, are super helpful.
Yeah, may I just add to that again? CC covered everything. The main thing I want to say to incoming students is, don't be shy, don't be afraid, talk to us. We professors, we are eager to see you, eager to talk to you. We don't expect that you will be experts in the areas of sciences in which we do some research. Not at all, quite the opposite. We want people, your enthusiasm and your curiosity and your new outlook on the subject is what what is more important than whether you have great knowledge of the discipline. Or don't think that way. Don't think, I don't know anything about physics or chemistry, and what am I going to say to this professor? No, if you're interested, express your interest, and we'll take it from there.
Anything else? Okay, that's great. So in addition to doing research here on campus, the students are also able to apply for funding and do research off campus, even in different parts of the country and the world. That leads to the next question that many students have asked, study abroad. So at Amherst, about 45% of the juniors study abroad. Of those who study abroad, 90% of them spend a semester away, and 10% of them spend a year away. As students who has a major in the STEM field, is study abroad feasible? Or can you fit that into your schedule, particularly if you are, as all 3 of you are doing 2 majors? Is that still a possibility for you in junior year?
Yeah, I can start. So I didn't study abroad my junior year, but pretty much all of my fellow juniors, my bio junior friends, many of them double majors did study abroad in the spring. It's pretty easy. It just takes a little bit of planning on your part, even just the year before. Just like when you're getting your credits for each major and whether you can get credit for your major when you're abroad. But yeah, many STEM kids do it. It's pretty easy to do.
Okay. In terms of funding of studying abroad, Amherst provides financial. Well, we are one of the most generous schools in the country. Students receive need-based financial aid, and if you study abroad, your financial aid travels with you as well. So basically, you will never need to pay more to study abroad than what you paid here at Amherst. And even if you go to a school outside of the country that charges more than Amherst, Amherst will up the financial aid for you, so you don't have to pay more for that. So know that study abroad is quite accessible for all of our students. We're nearing the end. If our admitted students here on the webinar have questions, feel free to send them through the chat function. And the next question is looking to the future, your years beyond Amherst. I know that for you're not thinking of graduating, you're not graduating yet, but that day is going to come. And so for Amherst students who are interested in a path after they graduate from Amherst, what's that typically like? Do they go to graduate school or do they find jobs, and what kind of jobs do they find if with their STEM major here at Amherst?
May I?
Yep.
Yes, yes, it's all of those things. A number of our majors in the STEM areas go to graduate school, and they get into, this is not surprising, they get into the top graduate programs and do quite well. It's the liberal arts outlook really gives them a certain advantage. Well, let me be honest about it. It is true that compared to students who go to big research universities in the same field and go to graduate programs, an Amherst graduate, say physics major, to pick something I know something about, may not have had as many courses, may not have covered as many topics in detail, but their ability to grapple with new problems and learn new things quickly that the liberal arts training gives stands them in good stead. We regularly send majors to, you name it, the schools that you're all looking at now, incoming students, Harvard, Stanford, Columbia, Yale, all of these places, and they do extremely well there. So we have a good track record. So that what that means is that when, for example, I write a recommendation letter to a student who's applying to graduate programs, I can say to the student, this is how the student compares with the student you have in your program now, who's doing very well. The student is stronger in, say, labs. Maybe that student was a little bit stronger in math, but overall, whatever it is. So what they get from us, from Amherst professors, is a very good calibration for each student getting in. That makes a lot of difference in terms of how your chances are higher, because the graduate schools are looking at you and they're able to compare. Okay, this is a good student from this college, and that works quite well. Graduate programs are not the only options. People do all kinds of things with their Amherst degree, even with a STEM degree. Obviously, health professions is a big part of what they do. That is, but teaching, and occasionally going into, especially double majors, to the business and investment and so forth is also not uncommon. So people do many different things, but graduate programs are a good part of that. Graduate programs broadly interpreted, including professional graduate programs.
Okay, so this question is probably for our students on the lighter side. What's your day like here in Amherst? What's a typical day for you?
So I can start off, I guess. For me, what a typical day looks like has varied very much semester by semester. But I would say, first of all, developing a routine to sort of stabilize that has been incredibly helpful to me. It might vary in terms of how helpful it is to other individuals. But overall, I think balance is the overriding descriptor. I think when I get up, I don't feel rushed like I have to run to class immediately and then I'm spending my entire day doing homework and preparing for internships and things like that. I think it's an educational institution. There obviously is a significant amount of educational work between time spent in class as well as on your own, doing readings, problem sets, studying, things like that. But there's still plenty of time to do other things. I would guess I spend between class and homework maybe 30 hours a week on academics, which leaves me still plenty of time for on-campus jobs. Like I said, I'm a tour guide as well as a peer tutor in computer science. I have a number of extracurriculars, like rugby takes up probably 10 to 12 hours a week on average, and I have plenty of time for that. And I still have plenty of time to hang out with friends, just relax in my room, watch TV, things like that, or go to the movies if I want to on the weekends. So overall, there's a lot of opportunities to do a lot of things, and you'll have time to pursue any one of them that you want.
Armand, Cici, would you like to share? Okay.
Sure. Yeah, so definitely echoing what you said. I think the hardest part about coming to college and transitioning for the first time is suddenly realizing you have free time in between your classes. Because I know that in my high school, maybe it's different for you guys, but it was a full 8-hour day, back-to-back classes, no break, like 30 minutes for lunch. And then you'd go home, do your homework, and then that'd be the end of the day. College is not the case. This semester, for example, I just have random 1 hour, 2 hour blocks between my classes. Some days I end class at 12, or some days I don't even have class, and other days I end class at 6. So it really just depends on how you work. And I guess it's also a matter of knowing yourself, knowing what environments you are comfortable in, feel like you can be productive in, what time of day you like to study. I'm a night owl, so I really like studying at night. My other friends like waking up in the morning before a lecture and doing work. And it's really just a personal thing where you kind of get into a groove and know what you need to have a balanced day. And like most students on campus are involved in a lot of, or not in a lot, but involved in extracurricular activities, whether it be sports or music or a cappella or anything. And yeah, and like that also doesn't take away from your academic experience. Students also just find ways to hang out with friends all the time. Since you're living at school, you're living with your friends. So it's just really, yeah, managing a good balance between everything and knowing yourself and knowing what you need in both like socially and academically.
Yeah, Cece brought up a good point. Like when you come here, you have a lot of free time that you didn't have before, and it can be hard or confusing to fill that up. And I would say like a great skill you learn, not just at Amherst, but pretty much any school you'll go to, is like time management and budgeting your time. And I think just because of the way my schedule is, and even though I'm involved with a lot of stuff, I still have time to, pursue my interest in finance. We don't have finance courses here, but through the Loeb Center, through like a network of older friends, I was able to kind of do a lot of self-study on my own time. And like that was pretty much like a daily ritual for me. And yeah, moreover, like I think like you'll spend a lot of time with your friends, obviously, going out, going into town, but also just in your class and studying. Because the campus is so small, you'll see each other around a lot. And it just makes for like a more fun day. The days always go by very quickly.
And last question, if you could all share one advice for our incoming students, what would that be? If you need 3 seconds to think about. And Professor, please. So what advice would you give for particularly our admitted students here?
The main thing I would say is ask for what you want and don't be shy. Speak up. And if you are naturally a shy person and this doesn't make any sense to you, then at least send an email maybe, and then we can take it from there, right? Speak up.
Yeah, I can go. I would say when I came here, Amherst my freshman year, I was dead set on pre-med, and I would say I pigeonholed myself a little, kind of in terms of interest. And it was until like my sophomore year that I started looking outside, like the hard science curriculum. That's where I found econ. So I think it's really important to explore everything you can. Like even if you think you know yourself before you come here, it turns out you might not. And that goes for more than just courses. So clubs and like friends too. Definitely just try everything when you get here is my advice.
Yeah, mine would be pursue what you love. And and if you don't know what you love, that's totally okay too. Like that's why that's why we're in college, and that's why the open curriculum exists, and to keep your mind open to all the possibilities that are out there. Like never in a million years did I think as a high school student that I'd be a music major, but here I am. And it just happened as a result of pursuing something that I love. Even if you struggle, which you're bound to do, that's all that's all part of the process, and to just kind of trust the process. And if you put your heart into the things you care about, then you'll reap a good harvest.
I would say in a pretty similar vein, do the things that scare you. I have countless examples of how that has shaped my Amherst experience in an overwhelmingly positive way. Like I said, I didn't have any computer science experience before Amherst. I took that and now I'm majoring in it and I love it. Rugby too, I had absolutely zero experience. Didn't play any like contact sports, no football or anything, but I did that on a whim and it's been a phenomenally important experience. This semester, I'm taking a course in the theater department. It's a 300 level theater course, which is so far out of my usual comfort zone. I can't even tell you. And it is a little bit weird. It's not something that I think I'm going to pursue for the future, but it's still been a completely invaluable experience to see another part of Amherst, get to know people, professors in a department that I otherwise would not have got to know. And I'm thinking in new ways. I notice connections being formed between everything I'm studying in that class and other courses. And it's been completely terrifying and completely exciting. So I would say in everything you do, from academics to extracurriculars to personal life, do the things that scare you and you will learn from them. You'll have fun in them.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your insights and your advice for admitted students. And thank you again to our Professor Jagu, our student Diego, Armand, and Cici for their insights into Amherst in math and sciences and their personal experiences at the college. Hopefully that was helpful for all of you as you get to learn about all the colleges you're admitted to and making your final decision in where you want to go for the next 4 years. Just a kind of reminder that there are still other activities happening virtually with Amherst. Feel free to utilize your admission status portal page where all the activities are listed, and we hope that these activities will provide you with abundant information about the college to help you make your final decision. And once again, thank you all for joining us, and we hope that you continue staying safe and well, and we hope to see you in the fall on campus.